Hey guys, so today I came across a very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal talking about how FICO is trying to change the way that they calculate your credit score. FICO has noticed that lenders have basically tapped out this market. So what are they doing? Currently, FICO uses your payment history and your debt to basically calculate your credit score. That implies that the only way that you can have a good credit score is by having liabilities in forms of debts. They're changing that now to include factors that will calculate your score, also taking into consideration your bank accounts. So basically your checking accounts, your savings accounts, and your money market accounts will now be taken into consideration when calculating your credit score. So what does that mean? That means that basically if you have high balances in your accounts, or if you have low overdrafts, or you don't overdraft your account, you're always in the positive, you're never in the negative, those things will actually help you get a higher credit score, because it's, in their eyes, it's a sign of financial literacy. So this is targeting two kinds of people. One of them is going to be the cash only consumer, likes to pay for everything cash or with a debit card and doesn't really like to get in debt. Now, that consumer currently is not a client of the banks, of the big lenders, because this consumer says, hey, if I don't have it in the bank, I'm not gonna buy it. If I don't have it in the bank, I'm not gonna use it. Or if I am gonna buy something, I'm gonna build my assets to be able to buy that. So what does this do? This is basically used to entice the person that uses cash only to say, hey, you know what? Before I didn't have a credit score because I have no debt, so they have nothing to base a credit score off of. And now they're giving me a good credit score because they see the bank account balances and they see the bank account activity, and they see that it's a very healthy activity. So they say, okay, hey, this is somebody that can pay his debts if he were to have any debts, so let's try to get him some debts. The second person that this is targeting is basically people that have had issues in the past but still manage their checking account in what we would consider a healthy manner, right? They don't overdraft the accounts, they might have some savings, and they don't usually go into the negative. So this is somebody that, okay, you know, they're making their payments, there's always money in the accounts, but maybe something happened in their credit history, right? Maybe a broken lease, or maybe a very high medical bill that was never paid, that is bringing down that credit score. They can move on to new debt because they're showing in their accounts that they can make the payments. So why is FICO doing this? The average American is not a financially smart consumer, right? They don't have $1,000 saved up in the bank account, they don't have any cash, and they have a great credit score, right? The average American, 58% of people that have credit scores in America have above a 700 credit score, which means that more than 60% of people that have a credit score have above a 700, which would be considered a perfect credit score or great credit score. So how is it that 60% of people that have a credit score have a great credit score, and they're great at borrowing and they're great at paying debts, but they have no money, they have no assets, right? So a very simple financial equation, the accounting equation is assets equal liabilities plus owner's equity. So if you don't have any assets, or you have assets but you have very high liabilities, you essentially don't own anything. The banks and the big lenders have already done a great job in maximizing that clientele. Essentially, that market has already been tapped into and it's already been maxed out. There's not much more room for growth. So it's what we call in the business world a red ocean. A red ocean is basically saying that there's a lot of sharks in the ocean. Therefore, the only way to get a new client is to steal a client from someone else, right? So basically, if you're a Chase borrower, the only way that Wells Fargo can increase its borrowers is by taking you away from Chase and making you a Wells Fargo borrower. This is a red ocean, meaning that there's a lot of sharks in the ocean, therefore there's a lot of blood, therefore there's a lot of fighting back and forth for that client. But there is the idea of a blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy is basically saying that, hey, you know, this is an untapped market, this is an open market that nobody's going after. So therefore, we are the first one to go after this market. There's not going to be blood in the ocean. We're going to be able to get those clients and see that beautiful growth, because nobody has been tapped into it and it hasn't been maxed out. This is basically what's happening, right? So the high credit, the high borrowers have been tapped out. So now they're trying to target the people that, trying to entice the people that don't borrow and that use cash to start borrowing and potentially find an opportunity for a blue ocean strategy within that clientele. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see how this plays out. Have a good one.